In this week's Parsha of Tzav, we are introduced to the Korban Olah, the burnt offering, and the Korban Chatat, the sin offering. The Torah tells us, Bimkom asher tishchat haolah, tishchat hachatat. These two offerings were to be brought on the identical place, the northernmost part of the altar. Now this seems to be quite remarkable, because surely the sin offering and the burnt offering were polar opposites. The Olah, as its name suggests, enabled a person to elevate himself or herself, to reach great spiritual heights. The Chatat, however, was a sin offering brought by those who had erred in their ways. We learn about the Chatat, this term, from the world of archery. Lahachti et hamatara means to miss the target. The person who brought a Chatat was somebody who had misplaced priorities, who didn't just get it, and as a result had failings and performed many sins. So why was the sin offering and the burnt offering to be brought on the same place? I'd like to suggest that the reason is because sometimes we can enable the Chatat to pave the way towards achieving the Olah. What do I mean? Henry Ford's first businesses in the motor car industry were total failures, but he learnt his lessons from those weaknesses in order to establish himself as the all-time household name when it comes to the motor car industry. Bill Gates started a company which he called Traffidator. Who's heard of that? Gates would prefer us to forget about it. But actually, because it was a failed business, Gates learnt from his mistakes, and he applied those lessons to the success of Microsoft. That's what the Chatat is about. At the commencement of our Kol Nidre service, we start the fast of Yom Kippur by declaring, Anu matirin litpalel im havaryanim. All sinners are welcome in Shul. That applies really to all of us, because we realize that if we learn the lessons of our sins of the previous year, we can establish ourselves as tzaddikim, as upright people, for the year that will follow. Similarly, at the Seder table, the Rasha, the child who is the sinner, is welcomed around our table because we recognize that that child, if he or she learns from their lessons, will be able to transform themselves into a chacham, a wise and upright child, during the year that will follow. And this is what we learn with regard to the Chatat. We can enable ourselves to move forwards, not despite our failings of the past, but because of them. If we recognize where we went wrong, and if we also learn from the failings and the sins of others, we can utilize that awareness in order to pave the way forward for future success. The Chatat and the Olah are to be sacrificed on one and the same place, because if we achieve our objectives, it will be but a short step from Chatat to Olah, from the depths of failure to the incredible heights of remarkable success. Shabbat Shalom.